In human life, we find people rising to great heights, and also people falling to despicable depths. In human life, there can be great uddhara, rising and rising, or avanati. Avanati is falling. One can do tapas and rise, or one can fall. That is called pata. Tapa leads to rise. Patana is falling. The Upanishads, of course, talk about not just rising where there is the possibility of a fall after some time, but rising and rising to such a great vision that there is deep transformation. In that deep transformation, there is no falling again. Yad gatva na nivartante. That realization where we do not come back at all to our present sense of being limited. Upanishads talk about deep, radical, and forever transformation, forever radical change. But as we have always said, Upanishads do touch upon, before that transcendence happens, there is rise and fall. Yogo hi prabhavapyayau. There is a statement in Kathopanishad. Yoga generally is marked by prabhava, rising, and apyaya, falling. The sadhana ordinarily. Some days we feel so good, so calm, so serene. Our bosom is filled with forgiveness, with great cheerfulness, and so on. And very next day we could be, for reason not known, depressed, feeling lost, feeling insecure, feeling no direction, becoming directionless, in other words. Upanishads do talk about falling and rising. And we will touch upon this falling a little bit and rising a little bit. And the rising, of course, culminates. It reaches its acme in merger with God. This morning only I got a very interesting, simple Hindi bhajan, and it connects so well with this evening's talk. Therefore, I'll take the liberty of quoting from it without bringing much Hindi. I'll put it in English. This bhajan talks about 7 ways in which human beings fall. 7 ways in which human beings fall. And the language used is in the context of a man, but it can also apply to women equally. The simple bhajan goes like this. Naan ghate nar mood ke sangat. Whatever knowledge, whatever wisdom, whatever scriptural study we may have taken up and gained certain clarity, will all go by mood sangat, by being in the company of worldly, foolish people. Alas, the clear knowledge we had once about what is to be done and what is not to be done takes a backseat. Buddhi gate chit vishaya bhar mai. Our intelligence itself takes a cut. It reduces. if we are more and more into all kinds of regrets, all kinds of the bad things that happened in our life. We must be ready to move on. Otherwise, our intelligence, buddhi ghate, it says. Then it is said, thirdly, a man loses his brilliance, loses the shine upon his face if he associates with paranari, with women of other households. The reference is to a grahastha man. So he loses self-control and goes here and there, and he loses his tejas. Then the simple bhajan goes. Once more the word buddhi is used. So we take the word buddhi in this case as the ability to take good decisions. That ability to take good decisions goes away, and it's a bit humorous if we eat too much. Buddhi ghate bahu bhojan khaye. Therefore, in Indian hospitality, people, your hosts will always say, take a little more, and take a little more. No. Spiritual wisdom says, those of us who stop a little before we are full will have the ability to decide rightly. Otherwise, ghatna in Hindi is becoming less. Buddhi ghate bahu bhojan khaye. And then there is very interesting, especially in olden days, now also in other forms it happens. Between neighbors, there used to be sometimes, one house takes sugar from the neighbor's house because that morning the lady discovers, oh, no sugar to put into tea or coffee. She quickly goes to the neighbor, give me some sugar. Another day, the other neighbor wants salt. She has run out of salt. So, giving that context, the bhajan says, once in a while it is all right. You ask for some sugar, ask for some salt. But imagine every second or third day, a particular woman, lady of the house, goes to the neighbor, can you give me some salt? Can you give me some sugar? I suddenly find I don't have asafoetida. I suddenly find I don't have jeera or many other things. If you go frequently to the other house, then prema ghate, the goodwill, the love, the regard, the affection that the neighbors had for you will slowly go. Moment they see you, they wonder, what is it that she wants today? Therefore, again and again, we must not ask neighbors or some friends, however good they may be. The way they see us, our image will take a hit. And yeah, a lot of practical advice indeed. This is a very unique bhajan, or something like Kabir's Doha. This I don't know who wrote. Now the last one in the list of things, where you lose something, that is, I am comparing them, I am putting them in the category of falling, right? The seventh one says, मान घटे नित पर घर जाए. मान घटे. Now we live in a town and many people invite you for functions. Not only invite, they are such good people. Suppose without invitation, someday you suddenly show up there, they will tell you, oh, come in, please come in. Oh, come have a cup of tea. But here also, suppose you are very touched by their hospitality. I just went there, they invited me in and they gave me such good coffee. Now, why not my wife and I go there every second day? Do it and see. If uninvited, you keep going to some house and hope for the repetition of the hospitality. This is a little different. It's not borrowing or asking for some samagri, but visiting them without any major reason. Then the respect they have for you goes. So, 7 ways how we make ourselves cheap, we make ourselves low, leave alone others looking down at us. We must add, we begin to look down at ourselves. We ourselves look down at ourselves when we behave in all these ways. And at the end of this bhajan, there is the line which is especially relevant to our topic of this 18th episode of Know the Upanishads. And this is very sweet. The last line says, Paap ghate hari ke gun gaye. The 7 things that we were losing before are things that we don't want to lose. Who wants to lose the respect people have for us? Who wants to lose intelligence? Who wants to lose one's own health? All good things were going in the 7 examples given before. But in the last line of this bhajan, something that we rather wish that it go from us, and that is paap. Paap gate hari ke gun gaye. More you chant God's name, more you remember God, more namasmaran you do. I nowadays meet many Vedantins and they confess before me. I am declaring it open before all of you. But Vedanta scholars have confessed before me that Swamiji, I continue to give Vedanta lectures. That is my work. Our gurus trained us and we are going around and giving lectures on Upanishad and all Atman Atma Viveka. But they say to me, Swamiji, to tell you a little personal truth, I am so tired of life's ups and downs. I am so tired of a whole lot of matters of this world. And to get peace of mind more than Vedanta, I do Namasmaran. I get 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. I get a little time before sleeping, or when I get up, I remember that I better do something good before getting down to other things. On all such occasions, I remember my mantra. I remember God's name. This is what Vedanta scholars have said to me, and I was not surprised. Because in this Kali Yuga, Vedanta is wonderful, we must study it, but our mind being much more extroverted than ever before in the previous yugas, the mind doesn't so easily cooperate in Atma Anatma Viveka or who am I inquiry. Probably 2 out of 10 occasions our mind cooperates. And I would dare say, on those 2 occasions, out of 10 occasions, when your mind cooperates, do Atmanatma Viveka. Who am I? Am I this body? Am I this mind? Who has sorrow? Ah, the mind has sorrow. I am not the mind. That is Atmanatma Viveka. Mind is Anatma. I am the Atma. I have no sorrow. So let the mind continue to have sorrow. You say, as though speak to sorrow. There is sorrow in you, but through Vedantic wisdom, you say to the sorrow, oh dear sorrow, stay here as long as you like. That's the Gunatita behavior. Gunatita, I believe, welcomes even Kama Krodha, etc. If Kama Krodha come, Gunatita says, oh, please come, take a seat. And 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. If Kama Krodha, desire, anger, etc. are leaving, Gunatita says, okay, you're going? Okay, God bless you, go. Agate swagatam kuryat, gachantam na nivarayet. Like that, 2 out of 10 occasions, suppose your mind is cooperating, do Atmanatma Viveka. Question everything and stay as pure consciousness. Day before, I attended a grand function at Muddiyanahalli. It is Satya Sai Grama, and for 100 days that place has been celebrating the 100th birthday of Swami Satya Sai. 23rd November is the 100th day. I guess I was there on the 96th day, and a certain gentleman spoke, and he spoke a little about Ashtavakra Gita, because the Swami now at Muddenahalli, Sri Madhusudana Sai, recently gave a number of lectures on Ashtavakra Gita. They are already published as books also. So this Sri Murti, his name is Sri Murti, he spoke, elderly man, and I too taught Ashtavakra Gita recently on 2 occasions. But this particular line I had forgotten. This Murti um, quoted this line, and it's so good from Ashtavakra Gita. The line says, Shraddatsva Tata Shraddatsva, Shraddatsva Tata Shraddasva, Shuddha Bodha Nitya Swaruposi. The first quarter itself is very touching. Ashtavakra says to Janaka, and through Janaka he says to all of us, oh dear Tata, oh child, Shraddatsva. Shraddatsva means have faith, believe, don't neglect or ignore or put it by the side. Believe every moment that you are eternal, you are pure awareness, you are that with no birth and death. Shraddatsva Satata Shraddatsva. That's how the shloka begins. The Ashtavakra Gita is really amazing. Many shlokas over there are like hammer strokes on our ignorance. Now coming to the selected mantra that we will use for elaboration of how remembering God, as per the bhajan I sang, takes away, reduces the sin. Sin is negativity. Suppose any of us feel very, out of mood. One whole day we are just lying down. Whole day we are reading newspaper, we are watching the television or checking WhatsApp messages, and tired of it, sleep off. And when we wake up again, we do that. Then it is a sign of our sin. We have done certain sins either in the earlier part of our life or in previous lives. Why? It is because of the momentum of those sins that today, having such a wonderful human body, such a wonderful, let's say, atmosphere, facilities, technology also ready to help us in spiritual study, if we are just looking at all kinds of entertainment or the repetitive political news, this party may do this, that party may do that, Karnataka chief minister may change, and again he may not change, again afterwards he may change, same news suppose we see, that is because of our sin. And the bhajan said, Papa Gate Hari Bhajan Gaye. If you think of Hari. Mundaka Upanishad puts it in a little different way. And now I'll open some slides, just 2 or 3 slides, and you will find how Upanishads provide the matter, provide the material for even number of bhajans. The bhajans actually are elaborating on what is said in Upanishad in a little philosophical language. Upanishad here at least does not talk about Namasmaran. Kalisantara Upanishad explicitly says in this Kali Yuga to do Santarana, to cross this the ocean of worldly living, you must recite Hari's name. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare is a mantra from Kalisantarana Upanishad. I guess we had a webinar on it long back. But Upanishad here, Mundaka Upanishad, puts it this way. The mantra says, talking of the two birds, we had our first episode on Mundaka Upanishad only, the two birds. But today I am especially highlighting a certain dimension. A certain string of words appears in the second of the three mantras of the third khanda, rather third Mundaka, first khanda of Mundaka Upanishad. And those words highlighted are Pashyati Isham. When you turn inward and you have a glimpse of God, Pashyati Isham, you glimpse God, you become Vita Shokaha. Your low mood, your depressed state, you are being distracted, you are being diverted, or you are boiling with anger and revenge and hatred, or you are crying with sorrow and regrets and pain. All of them are contained in one word, shoka. Bhavati Vita Shokaha. Anybody who has a glimpse of God is freed from all sorrow. Mundaka Upanishad, in the example or the great metaphor of two birds on the same tree. Without wasting time, I'll go straight to the second mantra of that third Mundaka, first khanda. Samani vrikshe purusho nimagno anishaya shochati muhyamanah jushtam yada pashyati anyamisham asya mahimanamiti vita shokah. Samani vrikshe. It's not two different trees. The same tree. Talking of the first bird, which is sad, which jumps from one branch to another, tasting so many fruits, most of which are all sour. Only 1 in 10, 1 in 15 is sweet. The first bird is nimagnaha, dukhe nimagnaha, immersed in sorrow. And anisha, that is helplessness. Though in Vishnu Sahasranama, anisha means one who has no isha, no lord above him. That's another interpretation. But here anisha is, you are not isha, you are not master of situation. You are rather victim of scenarios. Then that condition is called anisha. Anishaya shochati muhyamana. As all of you know, we had talked on this in this very series of episodes on Know the Upanishads. The first bird represents Jiva. And the Jiva is so busy, as you and I have been busy going for money, going for power, going for a little praise, going for pleasant weather, going for enjoyments. Oh, but life is very different from what we think it is. We go somewhere for happiness, a little happiness we get, but so much sorrow also. Think of those people who went to Kashmir, to Pulwama, to enjoy the beauty of the Himalayas, to play in the snow, to make merry, to have fun. Terrorists attacked them and shot them dead. The dead are dead, and others crying over the dead. Now, we need not go that extreme in our life, in our daily life, on many occasions. An ounce of happiness is supplied to us with dozens of ounces of discomfort, agitation, why this so, embarrassment, and leaving a bitter taste in our mouth at the end. Therefore, Jiva represents all of us. Now comes the golden line. Jushtam yada pashyati anyamisham. Anyam means the second bird. The second bird is Jushta, is well praised by everybody, well served, well looked after, or well adored, I should say. Yada pratamaha khagaha, pratamaha pakshi, dvitiyam khagam pakshinam pashyati. Yada jivaha ishwaram pashyati. The first bird looking at the second bird, all along the first bird did not either notice, or even if he noticed a little, he did not take interest. Now, face to face, he says, he sees the second bird. Pashyati isham. Those are the key words. Yada pashyati anyam isham, tada, then asya mahimanam. Wow, what a glory, what serenity, what radiance, what beauty here. You don't feel like turning your face away. Friends, it may first look difficult for you and me to fix our mind in God. Most sadhakas complain, I sit down for puja, I sit down for japa, my mind wanders. Please don't give up hope. Do a little satsang, draw a little inspiration from saints and sages. And once you have fueled yourself with some inspiration from good reading, from satsangs, or sometimes even recite a stotra or two, recite a bhajan or two, you will find your mood changes. And then you sit down for japa, the mind cooperates. Like the bhajan I referred to, if you were to hear that bhajan, something happens to you. So true, so true. In life, lot of things we do cut from our lovability, respectability, our image, the way people think of us, everything goes down. Our intelligence goes down, our memory fails, our vibrant mood goes away. We suffer really by doing all these things. And the bhajan says at the end that if you do Hari Smaran, Pap ghate, your bad mood goes, cheerfulness rises, your negativities go, the old past leaves you, and you will not do the same mistakes anymore in the coming moments, days, years, and so on. And towards that, Mahimanam. Mahima is the word. The Mahima means the glory of God. The greatest blunder a human being could do in life is not to think of God day in and day out. But we have duties to perform. I have quoted 100 times Sri Ramakrishna saying to us, when one hand of yours is in work, hold God with the second. And when your work is over, hold God with both the hands. What a sweet advice. When you have toothache, even though you are doing some important work, don't you pursue toothache? You stay aware of toothache. The example of toothache is given for that line in Bhagavad Gita. Ma manusmara yudhyacha. Yudhyacha means kartavyam kuru. Do your duty. But ma manusmara, even when you are doing your duty, remember Shiva, 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 Shiva. And when your duty is over, wholeheartedly sit down and do Namasmarana, Ishvara Smarana. It's possible. Everybody begins somewhere. And if we are foolish, we remain where we started. But if we are a little intelligent, we take help. Help from things like we hear a nice stotra. We ourselves recite a stotra. Or we connect with some sadhu, with some swami, with some pravachanka who is giving out the wisdom joyously. That is one step towards how the Jiva bird, looked at the Ishvara bird. One look and things start changing. So we must connect with these days. That's where I said technology also helps. Through audio, through video, through pictures. I'm sure very soon with AI and a lot of other technology, not just flat pictures, holographic images of Shiva or Rama, Krishna or Devi moving, raising their hand and blessing you could be possible on your tabletop with pressing a button. You just press the button, hey Lord Ganesha, bless me. And a three-dimensional image, colorful, rises upon the table and Ganesha lifts his hand, blessing you. So, don't have to depend on high tech. There are simple ways also. Use simple ways or sophisticated ways. As Bhagavatam says, Ata kenapi upayena mana krishne niveshayat. By hook or crook, beg, borrow or steal, but fix your mind in Krishna, says Gita. That essential sadhana is given here. Therefore, scholars have rightly said that for thousands of Indian scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, the Upanishads are the original source. The Sanskrit word is used, Mula Srota. Mula Srota, the original source. This gets amplified, this gets elaborated in various ways. Now, Bhagavan Bhashyakara Sri Shankaracharya comes to our help and he throws light. He throws light means he elaborates on what the mantra has said. I have culled some lines from Shankara Bhashya or call it Shankara Bhashya. Sa evam pretatiryang manusyadi yonishu ajavam javi bhavam apannaha. Jivatma's situation is pathetic. Jivatma for some time was a preta, did not get a proper body, he was in ghost body. Tiryang means animals whose body is parallel to the earth, like cows or buffaloes, dogs or deer. And once in a while we were Manushya also. Preta Tiryang Manushad Yonishu Ajavam Javi Bhavam Apannaha. Going through them and getting so strained and tired. But then Shankaracharya says, today we are studying Upanishad. How come we got this opportunity? It's because through those hundreds of lives or thousands of lives, there were some lives where there were also a good number. Let's say in 100 lives, maybe 10 or 12, we did some satkarma. Aneka janmasu shuddha dharma sanchita nimittataha. And because of that shuddha dharma, kenachit parama karunikena darshita yoga marga. A compassionate teacher emerges in our life. Parama karunikena guruna darshita yoga marga. This jiva gets the path to liberation shown. Yoga marga is shown to him. This is the way. Why are you going all over? Walk in this way. Now don't look left or right. Leave all your adharma and walk dharma. And dharma is what? Ahimsa, satya, brahmacharya, sarvatyaga, shama, dhamma, adi sampannaha. As she or he, this jiva, walks the yoga marga by a little self-persuasion. The mind says once more, let me watch some entertainment on the smartphone. And you feel like doing so, but I have spent some time already on it now. I better sit down. And instead of that, some filmy entertainment, you sit down and sing a bhajan maybe. And you are about to overeat, you stop. You are about to possess, collect more and more possessions. Sarvatyaga, Shama, Dama, all of them come. It's part of Yoga Marga. It's very important that we identify Yoga Marga, that is San Marga, the Sadhana Marga, and walk that path. Then all these qualities will rise. They are in you. They only have to be uncovered. Samahitatma. You become someone whose Atma, Atma here means mind, whose mind now is not only calm, but lively, vibrant, cheerful. Rather than saying, I am tired, this much Vedanta study is enough for me. The Samahit Atma's mind is, you know how it is? It says, this is so fascinating. Let me see what is said in the next paragraph. Let me see what Shankaracharya writes in next two lines. Then I will stop. That is called Samahitatma. Please don't misunderstand. Samahitam is just calm, not doing anything. It is actually a vibrant mind. Samahitatma san justam sevitam anekaihi yoga margaihi karmibhishcha. God is described, the second word is described as justam means sevita, adored, worshipped. Anekaihi yoga margaihi. Devotees may take Bhakti Marga, Jnana Marga, Yoga Marga, Karma Marga, another third. Akashat patitam toyam sagaram pratigacchati. Sarvadeva namaskaraha keshavam pratigacchati. There is a shloka. Vishnu Bhaktas composed it like that. If you are a Shiva Bhakta, I give you a trick. Akashat patitam toyam sagaram pratigacchati. Sarvadeva namaskaraha shankaram pratigacchati. These are the tricks we play. You put your Ishta Devata's name in place of another god form. Don't worry, Keshava will not be angry with you. In fact, Keshava and Shankara both will be laughing and smiling at the mischief you did to that shloka, which originally was written for Keshava. In place of Keshavam pratigacchati, you may say Shankaram pratigacchati. If you are Shiva Bhakta. So, take any yoga marga, karmibhishcha, karma khandis. And then Shankara comes to the explicit line which we have taken up. Yada pashyati isham tada jivaha vitashokaha bhavati. He comes to that. So in this slide, at the end it is said, Yada yasmin kale pashyati. When he sees, I have repeated those three words, Yada yasmin kale pashyati, four words, and Shankaracharya gives the meaning. Pashyati here means not just beholding with eyes. Pashyati means you see a possibility, you see the divine domain, the divine potential in yourself. You are depressed, but you don't have to remain depressed. You can be cheerful. And that cheerfulness is divine. You can go from negativity. You become very dependent on wealth. You become dependent on some relationship. You become very dependent on pleasant weather or some very decent place, beautiful city or something. All that dependence goes away when you become samahita chitta, pashyati dhyayamanaha. Therefore, pashyati has the significance of meditating. As your mind gets greater purity, you do not meditate. Meditation happens. You meditate on what? Shankaracharya uses the word anyam from the mantra. Anya is vrikshopadi lakshanad vilakshanam. Worldly life is compared with vriksha. All of you know Urdhva Moola Madashakam Ashwattam Prahuravyayam Gita. Urdhva Moolaha Avak Shakaha Yeshoshwatta Sanatanaha Kathopanishad. Both places, vriksha is a metaphor for egoistic worldly life. Anyam vrikshopadi lakshanad vilakshanam. Other than this worldly life, Above the worldly life, he is the Mula, root, God, Isha. And Isha, Ishvara, is not samsara. Therefore, asamsarinam, ashanaya pipasa, shokamoha jara mrityu, atitam. Atitam here means beyond, untouched by. He is untouched by hunger and thirst, ashana pipasa. Untouched by shoka moha, grief or delusion. Untouched by old age or death. Tam isham sarvasya jagataha ayam ahamasmi. Ayam ahamasmi atma sarvasya samaha sarvabhutastaha. The great Advaita teacher Sri Shankaracharya says, as your mind becomes extremely pure, there takes place a quantum leap. All along you thought you are the worshipper and God is the worshipped. Now you realize that there is no I at all in me. God alone is. And that God alone is, I do not live, exist separately, is the implication of Aham Brahmasmi. I am merged, I am part of Him. When I raise my hand, it is God who is raising His hand. When I sleep, it is God who sleeps. Why do you say that? Have you become so egoistic to say you are God? I'm not saying I'm God. Though the words may be sometimes like that, what it means is God alone is. And this I, this person whom you are seeing, is part of God. Just as if you raise your hand, the five fingers are seen, let's say the index finger. Does the index finger has a separate existence? It's part of God. Part of finger, hand, part of the hand. Like that, Advaita says. Ramanuja more explicitly says, a finger is a part, hand is the whole. Therefore, Jiva is Ansha and Ishvara is the whole, Anshi. But Shankara says, really, if you go to that metaphysical heights, no criterion is left anymore to separate Ansha and Anshi. Because there is no time, there is no space, there is no causation. Because two things are, shown. Like I hold, let's say, these two, there are these two drying clips. They are separated in space. And I bring first this one and then after 2 seconds this one. So time-wise, space-wise, and causation-wise, they have come from some plastic or something. So two things are two when there is some basis for distinguishing them. So Shankaracharya says, in your understanding of what you truly are, and in your understanding of what God truly is, Atmanaha Swarupam, Ishwarasya Swarupam, Jivatmanaha Swarupam, Paramatmanaha Swarupam, na bhidyete. There is no Bheda. Therefore, you have to study Advaita Vedanta from a competent teacher who shows that fine distinction of visualizing a difference and then beholding a state of no difference, abheda, that is Advaita. Shankaracharya says, therefore, aham sarvasya sarvabhutastaha. That's what the first bird realizes. The first bird loses its identity as that first bird. It knows the second bird alone is. After all, the first bird and the second bird is just a metaphor. Don't stick to or don't cling to the metaphor too far, too long. The two become one. Na itaraha, I am not other than God. God includes me, God Himself is. Avidya janita upadi parichinnaha itaraha na asti. Maya atma na asti. Mahimanam jagadrupamasya eva mama parameshwarasya iti. So Jivatma realizes, and there is no ego, it's the opposite. Utter annihilation of ego is what happens. In the total annihilation of the ego, Aham Brahmasmi is experienced. Therefore, Vibhutincha Jagadrupamasya Mama Parameshwarasya iti yada evam drashta. When that seeing happens, Vita Shokaha Bhavati. What is Vita Shokaha? Sarvasmat Shokasagarat Vipramuchate. You are lifted, you are freed from Shoka Sagara. There is so much sorrow, so much sorrow. Every now and then we come across a case where we envy somebody looking at his wealth. Next day we come to know he has all the wealth, but he has some other very serious problem in his life or in his family or in his life scenarios. Then you say, oh no, I don't want his wealth, no, nor do I want his uh, problems. I better be whatever little middle class fellow I am. Another day you envy somebody for all the degrees he has from Indian and foreign universities. Then you come to know how, in some other respect, maybe he married and married and married 7 marriages and still he says, I didn't get a proper companion yet. Rama Rama, with so much qualification, so much position you hold, you are a professor at this university, you occupy that great chair in such a certain center of learning, but you are so miserable. I don't want your degrees. I don't want your misery also of not having found a companion and all that. So, Shoka Sagara. In this world, no one is happy except those who have had a glimpse of God. This whole episode is about have a glimpse of God. Glimpse God and put an end to your sorrow. Krita krityo bhavati ityartaha. Krita means done. Krityaha means what had to be done. You become a person who has done whatever had to be done. There is no duty that remains in you. If you are seen to be active, it's not because of wanting to fulfill your duty in this state, it's because you are happy. Swami Chinmayananji used to say, the ignorant work for happiness, the wise work out of happiness. They are so happy and they work. They don't have to get anything from work, nor do they lose anything from work, but they work out of happiness. They serve others. They give a helping hand to somebody, not expecting anything from that other person. If the other person asks, why did you help me? I was in a happy mood and I saw you having a difficulty. I just stretched my hand and picked you up, lifted you. Like, okay, bye-bye, see you. So, that is kritakrityaha. Kritakrityaha bhavati. Thus it is that the excellent mantra, mantra 2 of the three, set of three, Samane vrikshe purusho nimagno anishaya shochati muhyamanah jushtam yada pashyati anyamisham asya mahimanamiti vita shokaha. May all of us be vita shokas by constantly connecting with God. Om Namah Shivaya.